Yeah, that's not how that works. Oh, not everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Shanclen Shadow Productions. So I just wanted to give an announcement that we just hit over 20,000 subscribers. You know, that's a huge milestone for me because every single subscriber that follows this channel, you know, is very special to me. You guys are very special to me. So if you guys haven't subscribed yet, if you're watching this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You know, I'm going to be doing a lot more cool videos and more teachings and everything, as well as travel vlogs and all these other different things that I have planned in the future for my channel. It's going to be a very kind of a broad channel that I'm going to be doing. But today's story today's teaching we're going to be doing is about sage or smudging. Now, throughout my years of interacting with the paranormal community and just having social media in general, or playing even video games itself, there has been a lot of misconception about using sage and using smudging to get rid of spirits. And let me just tell you straight up, that's not how it's supposed to be used. So when you go and use sage, here's some of the sage I have right here. There's a lot of healing properties when it comes to using sage or smudging. Typically, it varies from different tribe to tribe and whatever religion you come from. But there's a lot of different things that it's used for, but never in my travels have I ever heard that it uses to get rid of demons. Now, I kind of grew up watching shows like A Haunting, where it goes and tells stories about people who deal with spirits or anything like that, and then they would use sage to go smudge their house, and wouldn't be a couple days or weeks later that the spirit would return and it would just be worse than before. And there's a reason behind that. The reason is because sage itself, in a sense, does not kill or get rid of spirits. It puts them to sleep. Normally, when you use sage, you can either eat it, boil it for medicines, or you can burn it too, as well as far as for using it as an incense. Now, when that smell goes up into the air, it's used for in ceremonies when you want to kind of balance the energies, when you want to balance yourself, when you're being doctored or the environment that you're around. And I think that's where people got the misconception of, like, if there's darkness or evil, it'll get rid of those energies. Yes, it'll get rid of the darker energies that are around, but not spirits themselves. Let me explain a little bit more. So when you use sage, it puts spirits to sleep, I guess you can say. It puts like a lot of the spirits that are around, it nullifies and calms them down. And that's why you have a lot of these hauntings, to where like you're trying to get rid of an evil demon or a spirit. It puts it to sleep somewhere. And when it goes to sleep, it wakes up, it's pissed off. It's like, you know, oh, you put me to sleep. Oh, you're trying to get rid of me. And that's why a lot of people get worse hauntings after they smudge. And that's where a lot of times, you know, I see like a lot of people commenting on different things on social media. They're like, oh, smudging doesn't work. Oh, this doesn't work. It's just like, it's a tool and you're kind of using it wrong in a sense. So, you know, when you use this, there's a lot of teachings and stories that go behind the sage, and you just have to know the right teachings and the right ways to do it. So if you're trying to get rid of evil or darker entities, there's other substitutes. Sweetgrass is one of those. Cedar isn't one of those, to where it literally purifies and pushes out a lot of darker energies that are inside the home. But there's also other tools used, like Palo Santo wood right here as well. This, in a sense, won't get rid of demons itself either, but it's similar to the sage, to where it is a energy nullifier, I guess you can say, to where it cleanses out a lot of things. And I need to get some more sweetgrass. This is how much I have left, but yeah, I need to get more of that. For those of you out there that are always kind of wondering like why smudging doesn't work or anything like that, it's because maybe you're just using it wrong. There's a lot of different uses, like how I said, and just pretty much don't be using sage to be trying to fight or get rid of demons inside your house. And there's this game I love to play. It's called Phasmophobia. In the game, you know, you can use a smudge stick to kind of get rid of demons or whatever in that game too as well. But you know, it's a very popular thing that's in kind of spiritual aspects of people. I don't know when it started to be able to start using sage and everything, But yeah, so if you want to start using sage for those purposes, just know that you have that knowledge, knowing that it's not going to get rid of a spirit or a demon. So this is going to lead me into another topic of being careful of where you get your sage. Now, example, this sage right here was picked over in South Dakota during one of the ceremonies we went up there with the Lakota tribes up there. And during that ceremony, you know, they teach us these ways, as well as other herbs and other different tribes as well, where when you go to pick the stems. Pretty much, you don't go to the root, you don't destroy everything, you don't take every single stem that's on there, just so you can make sure that the plant itself has room to regrow those stems and everything. And you always give an offering. In our traditions, you put white corn pollen, yellow corn pollen, or you give tobacco offering. You give a prayer, you say thank you for providing this medicine for us to be able to be used. Now, this right here is California white sage. Now, California white sage this past year was put on the endangered list. Now, this one is one that you can go ahead and buy at, you know, one of those I guess spiritual shops, crystal shops, or anything like that. Now, for these to actually do their purpose and work really well, like, yeah, they'll work, but to use it to its full extent, you have to, in a sense, go pick it yourself and do those things that I told you about, only picking the stems and giving offering, because these items here have a spirit. They have, you know, they have all that inside of them, and you have to make that agreement. You have to make that understanding with them for them to, you know, do their purpose and what they're going to be used for. Now, if you go out and buy these things, like I went out and bought this because I was in an area to where I couldn't, in a sense, go pick it myself. And, you know, that's an error on my end because I was younger. I got this like years ago, and I really needed the sage at the time. But if you guys can, you know, try to go out and get it yourself. That would be the best thing, you know, because like when they go and get these things, they themselves, they don't, I guess you can say, do those offerings, and they harvest so much of them just to be sold, and they have the mindset of greed behind it, and to be able to be used in these ways, which isn't the right way. So when you go and buy these things, I had to go and re-bless this and re-pray to it again for it to actually kind of work. But, you know, that in itself was because the sage was going endangered. It was on the endangered list of going extinct because of all this. So the California white sage is no longer on that list because they're regrowing it and everything, which is really awesome and great. But it's scary when you have these herbs, these powerful herbs like this, go on an endangered list, because they have their own uses to be used in ceremonies and everything with us indigenous people. And for some people that don't understand that, to go out there and just to kind of get sage to be kind of trendy, you know, it's kind of sad to see that. So that's one thing I want to bring awareness to everybody out there, is if you're going to use sage, you know, try to go get it yourself. There's lots of places you can go and get this sage, and collect it the right way. You know, if there's any like people that are out there, you know, make contact with them, contact them, be like, hey, I need some sage, or hey, I need some sweetgrass, you know, or hey, I need some cedar. You know, cedar is one thing that's very, very plentiful because you can just get off cedar trees and everything, flat cedar. So, you know, different areas have different types of cedar, and just be careful when you go out there and try to get permission before you go on those lands to try to obtain some of these sacred items and use it with the best mindset. That's the best thing and advice I can give you, is use it in the best mindset. Be very respectful when you gather these herbs, and don't take more than what you need. Do it in a very respectful way, and don't try to go and fight demons with the sage and everything, you know, because it's just going to put them to sleep. But that's pretty much all I have for this episode right now. You know, thank you guys so much for watching. This is kind of a shorter one, but this is something that really needed to be said about sage and a lot of the misconceptions that go behind it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for the 20,000 subscriber milestone. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Check out my social medias for any of the cool stories and episode updates that I have. And I shall see you guys on the next one. Go on at. Oh yeah, it was a good episode. I'm gonna get some coffee right now. Well, you have to go out in a sense and pick to another episode of Shanclen Shadow Productions. Welcome back to another episode of